Hi, my name is Benjamin Osgood. I am a 13-year veteran in the United States Army, War on Terror, Afghanistan, and I am the author of The Hero of Oria. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, great, another veteran writing a book. Don't worry about it. This has nothing to do with my military service. This is just a high fantasy book. I do take a lot of the experiences that I had in the military and I apply it here, but it's in a high fantasy setting. What this book pretty much is going to go through. You have a guy that is going to be moving along in that hero's journey, but he's dealing with things that have happened to him in the past. When you have those mental scars, I wanted to portray someone that has them, but it is not the entirety of their personality. So it's a take on the PTSD issue that is important in this modern day and age, but in a fantasy setting. Not only how it affects the person with it, but how it affects those around him, and how do you deal with it? Or how does he decide to deal with it? And how do those around him handle it? But he's not even the focus of this world. There's other things afoot. You have the threat within, the threat without. You have a missing heir. There's an assassination that apparently happened a few years ago. You have the court intrigue. So if this is something that you enjoy, the dark fantasy, the espionage, the intrigue, murder, it's all here. And this is just the beginning. This is setting it up for what this entire world is going to be. And I'm really looking forward to showing you all how this is going to end. I've been an avid fan of tabletop role playing games. Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Warhammer, the whole gambit. Love them. Call of Cthulhu, all of these tabletop role playing games. And the one thing they've all had in common is these are all collaborative storytelling games. It's not a game where you're competing against each other or competing against a unseen force. It's a group of friends or people coming together to form a story. And for me, that was the biggest draw of these types of games. And after many, many years of playing these games, a lot of my friends that I was playing these games with, because I would run a lot of these tabletop games for my friends, said, you should probably write a book. Well, this has probably been about 10, 8 years in the making. And after I got out of therapy for my own issues, I decided, you know what? This is it. Went ahead, took the plunge, and I've now taken a lot of my military experience, a lot of my personal experience, and here we are. So many years later, first book, and the second one is well on the way. There's the reality of the world is that there is no hero with a magic sword that is going to come and save you. There is no all powerful wizard that can solve all your problems. Magic doesn't solve everything. The world is cruel, as is reality. And despite all of that, heroes do exist. And it is not the people you read about in fairy tales. It's the baker who bakes extra loaves to give to the homeless. It's the priest that opens up the doors of his temple during the winter so that people will not freeze to death. It is the farmer who pulls his cart to the side to give some folks a ride into the next town so they can save their feet on their travels. Heroes are normal people doing decent things in everyday situations. A lot of the inspiration comes from I'm an avid reader my entire life. Also, my military service has played a very big part in, I guess, the personalities of a lot of my characters that I've made. But in addition, I've had a love of history. And I think where my writings have deferred a little bit in the fantasy genre and where they will continue to defer a little bit is especially in terms of, say, combat, sword fighting, the descriptives of the world and how life is. I do ensure that I bring a lot of the history that I am familiar with. I've always been uh, a student of, say, anything in between the 11th and the 14th century of Europe. I've been a student of the Crusades. I've been a student of medieval history in general, arms and armor. I've kind of looked at that niche of history as something of a subject of major interest. My book is available online. It is available through Milton and Hugo Publishing. You can find it on the Milton and Hugo Publishing website. It is available on Amazon. It's also available with Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, and many other retailers. I'm Benjamin Osgood. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. And if you do choose to pick up a copy of Hero of Oria or any of the other books that I plan on writing, thank you so much.